Hello and welcome to the second annual New Jersey Youth Transition Conference. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Audrey Mariani, and I represent the Camden County Family Support Organization on behalf of the YTC Planning Committee. We will place a registration form in the chat box for you to share your contact information so that we can share the recordings and resources once the recordings and resources with you from this workshop once they're complete. Please note, for those of you who are seeking continuing education credit, you're required to complete the form, as this is the contact method in which we will send you your proof of attendance. Today's workshop will be hosted via the same link you've joined with today. You can see the full schedule on our website, and I will share the agenda with you on the screen at the end of this workshop. Our presenter today is the great Jerisa Maseko. I apologize, Jerisa Maseko, the wonderful and great Jerisa from the ARC Planning for Adult Life, who will present on the topic accessing services and the natural supports. There will be a Q&A during the workshop, so please put your questions in the chat. Thank you, Jerisa. It's great to see you on this beautiful day, and have at it.
Thank you for having me. I don't take it for granted, and I guess I got to send you a check with that great introduction. So today I've been tasked with presenting on accessing services and natural supports. Really quickly, the Planning for Adult Life program, of which I'm the director, is a program that is funded by the Division of Developmental Disabilities, and our hope is that we provide a crosswalk for families to transition from the school system into adulthood, or along the road of transitioning to adulthood. We provide to high schools what is called a MAPS class, or Making Action Plans class. I also do community presentations, opportunity expos. We have an extensive website and webinars, and we have an e-newsletter. This, if you want to capture the screen here, and I will provide my contact information at the end, but this is our help desk and our contact information. So when we're talking about families and accessing services and natural supports, we've surveyed families, and this is a list of things that families have said that they are concerned about. Supporting a strong transition plan, creating a plan for what's going to happen when your child turns 18 and is guardianship or legal conservatorship necessary, or how do you even do that? And so what we've tried to do is to address some of the things that you see listed here on of their concerns with our presentations. And parents are concerned about connecting their child to the community. So our strategy that we utilize in all of our presentations is that you get a team, get information, get a plan, get going, and get feedback. And I'll go through these briefly. So who's on your team? When you're talking about accessing services and natural supports, it's very important for families, parents, to know that you would be very surprised at how many people would be honored to be on your team, your child's team, in order to make sure that their future is planned out, how your desires and your interests are taken in consideration, as well as the individuals. And so we're really going to challenge you here today about looking outside of the normal blood relatives to see who can be on your team. And so you want to look for people who understand your students' interests, what their likes and dislikes are, and you want to identify resources that fit the individual, and also supportive individuals who can encourage your child while they're going through mountains, as well as encourage your child when they're going through valley situations. And so we're going, like I said, we're going to challenge you here today to really look outside of the family. And again, you would be very surprised at how many people would be honored to be on your team. I've been in this profession for a little over 30 years. And in this profession, I've been able to sit on some of the adult teams for an individual. His uh, only connection really with me is that we share the same birthday. I didn't work at the agency that provided him services. We're not the same ethnicity. We don't live in the same city. We weren't born in the same state. But our only connection was that we shared the same birthday. And that was enough. And I was able to participate in his adult meetings and provided a lot more than his parents even could participate because of some health situations and location issues. And I felt as though it was an honor to be on that team. And I know that your child has impacted a lot of people and would, like I said, be honored to be a part of that team. You then want to get information. You want to find out all of the organizations and associations that exist locally. You want to look at the state level. You want to look at national level. You would be surprised at how many different organizations that might fit your child's interest. And then get on those lists and try to make sure that you're staying informed, okay? And I want to also challenge you to not only think about things that have disability in the title, okay? A lot of times, even our organization was founded by parents who had something in common and they put the word disability on everything. However, the tides have changed, and because disability has been viewed as a put down by a lot of society, instead of something that a situation that a person is dealing with, then they've started taking disability out of the title of things. And so you can't just look for things that have disability in the title. And so you want to, again, expand your horizons when you're talking about that. And then you want to get a plan, you want to develop allies. Individuals that can come alongside your individual, that can open up doors for your individual, who can connect for your individual to their community, and then get together with them to put a plan together in order to address some of those things. And then, of course, get going out in the community, and oh yeah, out in the community. This is very, very important. I understand that as a parent, you want to keep your child in bubble wrap and protect them from the world. That's what all parents want to do. But the truth of the matter is that we have the awesome task of preparing our child for when we're no longer able to take care of them. And because that task is so much more involved with a child with disabilities, we have to think early and prepare more and prepare earlier than other parents of typical developing children. So you want to get going out in the community, get them used to things that are out in the community, make it a routine for them so that this becomes the normal, not the new normal, but the normal for them. Find out what's out there and then begin to fade. Your role then becomes from the driver into the navigator or the one that comes alongside. And I know that this is hard for parents because, like I said, you want to wrap them in bubble wrap, but this is necessary because remember, you are preparing your child for when you're no longer able to take care of them. And you want them to be used to those things as much as possible. And then you want to get feedback. Ask questions. How is this going? Is it working? Is it not working? What can we do to make improvements? What kind of adjustments do we need to make? It's always better to have feedback so that you can make those adjustments as much as possible and level set, and retool the different things that's in school. If your IEP is not working, you want to adjust. Don't wait until the annual meeting to do that. You want to do those changes as soon as you recognize that there is a problem and address it. Also, with you're in the adult system, you want to address those things as soon as possible so that, again, your child's life is set up in a way that they are positive and adjusting to all of the different things that they will have to deal with as an adult. You want to consider what kind of supports, what kind of services that your student will need as they exit school. There's been several different presentations that are out there and that has been a part of this conference that you can utilize as your resources. What kind of providers will be able to provide services is another consideration. You want to look through all of the lists to find out what the updated lists are. We've come through the last 2 to 3 years. We've been dealing with a lot of changes. So providers, services, restaurants, different activities have changed. So you want to find out what they are locally on the state level as well as the national level. And I understand this is work. And that's why I really encourage you to get a team. Sometimes you won't feel like setting up a meeting, but you want to utilize one of your other teammates to help with setting those up and making sure that your child participates in them. You want to also tour programs. See if the bathrooms are something that your child would be comfortable using. Um, See if they have services that are universally available to individuals so that they can be utilized by your student. So those are the kinds of things you want to kind of think about as you're preparing. You want to ask providers questions. You want to ask how they're going to provide, what their goals are with your child. You want to make sure that your child is involved. Your child should be, no matter what their level is, a part of their IEPs. They need to know that this meeting is about them and that they are a part of the team. And it's not just things determined for them, but because of them. This is why we're doing this. And they might not understand everything, that's okay, but we are communicating both to the professionals as well as the teammates and the individual that they are important. And so you want to always consider those things. So really quickly, this slide is really just to say that we talk, social workers talk in a certain language, educational staff talk a certain language, other places talk a certain language, but understand that communities, resources, natural supports, generic supports, they're all equal, they're all the same. There's no hidden pot. It's just that they may not have disability in the title, but you want to develop those things so that people will know what is needed for your child and how they can address it. Really important thing that's really been trending is talking about social capital. We've heard it's all about who you know. Well, guess what, parents? It is all about who you know. You have to build your social capital and network in order to find out what's out there. Talk about where your child's interests are and what kind of things you might be interested in. You would be very surprised at what doors can be opened as a part of that as you build your social capital. There's ways to do that. This is a website and a screenshot of one of the handouts that I give out to parents. And it's all about ideas of how to build social capital, giving you ideas of how to do that. Again, it's all about who you know. And so you want to develop those networks so that your child will be connected. Another thing I want to share is through the Search Institute. It's called the 40 Developmental Assets. And the thought here is that the more assets you develop within your child, the healthier, caring, responsible individual they will become. And the website that in order to get this list is listed at the bottom of the screen. So when we're talking about connecting or developing or accessing resources, supports, and services, you want to think in different categories. How are we going to do this? So we've put together kind of a list of people, organizations, gathering places, public services, and advocacy groups that we feel like are great starting places. And you can go beyond this list, but at least you'll have a starting list of how you can start to develop your child. So when we're talking about people, we're talking about neighbors, co-workers. I've actually been asked to come in and lunch and learns at agencies and organizations that don't even have anything to do with disability, but to speak to parents because those employers have recognized that there are families that have individuals with disabilities in their family, and they want to empower the families with information. You'd be surprised at how much your mail carrier might know about different activities. Also, the bus driver, they coaches and different doctors may have information in their office. A lot of times when we go into the doctor's office, we just kind of let everything sink into the scene because we want to make sure we're on time and that we get called back on time. But take some time to absorb what's around you. What kind of different resources that the doctors have put in their offices that your child and you might benefit from. Also, there's youth groups, different ones that are paid for even by the state to have leadership development that can provide employment support. All of those things are available, but you want to make sure that you are open to finding what those are. There are several communities that have civic groups and theater, community theater, plays, and different things. I've even found that there are kickball organizations and leagues. They don't have any money other than to put a flyer in the library or something, and or they talk about it. They have online communities that they share that. I even seen that there are pillow fighting organizations, different things like that, that people talk about that are involved in, but it comes from their excitement and there's things that your child might be interested in. And when you talk about, oh, I have a daughter, she's involved, you know, in this, this, and this, then you get to connect with other people and you can develop those supports as you're talking about those different things. When we talk about organizations, did you know that the Boys and Girls Club has different programs that students with disabilities can participate in? The POW Club or the Police Athletic League has different activities that they make sure that individuals with disabilities can participate in. However, a lot of people aren't aware of those kinds of things. Habitat for Humanity is a very popular organization, but there are things that they even have students come and to volunteer as a part of building homes for individuals that your student could possibly get experience from, especially if they're interested in construction, those kinds of things. The CHAD, which is for individuals with attention deficit disorder, that is a national organization that supports families with this diagnosis, as well as individuals with the diagnosis. They have a wealth of information that you can access through their websites. NOFAS is the National Organization for Fetal Alcohol Syndrome. So they have support groups for individuals who have FAS. Also, they have support groups for birth mothers. They have support groups for adoptive parents, different things like that. But they're not organizations that a lot of people hear about. Also, with disability agencies, you want to see what's there. There are the disability services. They have a list. It's about 100 and something pages that you can download, of different organizations in your county that are set for providing services for people with disabilities. Also, the Centers for Independent Living. That is a great organization. There's one that serves every county in New Jersey, and they provide employment support. They provide community-based activities that your child can participate in. And if you notice, a lot of these organizations don't have disability in the title. And so if you're only looking for that, then this is what you're not going to find a whole lot of things. NJ Tips is an organization or a program that provides travel training for individuals with disabilities, and that is free to the individual. So the only thing that would cost them is their regular fare, and they also can assist with having a discount done. They start at age 16, and they help individuals navigate the public transportation system. These are a lot of agencies that are out there that can help with your student and provide interaction, social connections, and building that social capital that we talked about earlier. I mentioned the youth leadership councils. These are grant funded through the state organizations that work with students that are maybe perhaps in areas where there is some extra support that is needed. Your child could be a part of the youth leadership councils and participate in they do a lot of youth advocacy, they do a lot of youth programming, but it's something that your child could participate in. And you want to just use Google or a search engine of your choice, but you can find out where those things are. And then there's gathering places. You can utilize programs that have your houses of worship. You can utilize sports, different things. Like I told you, there's pillow fighting and dodgeball, kickball leagues, all of those things. There are different hobbies that you might be interested in. As I mentioned, I've been in this career for over 30 years. And one of the first jobs that I had was providing respite. And the individual, he loved trains. And as a part of him loving trains, we would look for all of the different activities. And we found out that there are enthusiast groups just because he loved trains that welcomed him into their groups as a part of their shared experience or shared love for trains. There are different gyms that have exercise classes. Special Olympics. Now, Special Olympics is a organization, a worldwide organization that is known for helping individuals with disabilities participate in sports activities. They are even changing the way that they are doing things because the philosophy is changing. Special Olympics has what is called unified sports, where individuals with disabilities and without disabilities are participating on the same teams against uh, other opponents. And if they, who are internationally known for having events that specialize with people with disabilities, are changing the way that they are providing their services, understand that other places are as well. As a part of our planning for transition, we were working with some young ladies. They knew that after they left school, they would no longer have gym classes. So we wanted to make sure that they had a regular exercise routine. It just so happened along where they were going to be moving that there was a trail that they could walk. And as they began to walk, through that trail, a lot of people became very familiar on that trail as they were consistently walking. Then they found out as they were branching out, saying, "Hello, so glad it's sunny, glad it's not raining today," different things like that. They found out that there was a walking club. And those individuals invited the ladies into their walking club. And after their walk, they went to a restaurant for green tea. Now, I'm not saying that the green tea was, something, I'm not advertising any kind of tea or any kind of restaurant, but that was something individuals creating those networks, accessing natural supports. That's what natural supports are. Just things that people have in common that they're able to participate in. There's different summer camps, their malls have different programs of community programs. There's comedy clubs, beaches have different things. I happen to live in North Jersey around the lake, and they have several beach clubs that have activities that individuals can participate in. They might not advertise beyond their online groups, but these are things that cause individuals to form those connections. And it's really important for our individuals to do those things, to branch out and to explore their places in locally, in the state, and get involved. And then there's places like public services. Of course, there's the Department of Children and Family, there's the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services, there's the Division of Developmental Disabilities, but there's also a lot of other public services that are out there that don't not necessarily do they only support individuals with disabilities, but they support universal needs of individuals. There are family support organizations. There's mom to mom, dad to dad, veteran to veteran. These are all warm support lines in which moms can call and get support, dads can call and get support, veterans can call and get support from like-minded or like situationed individuals, and somebody that can relate to you. You would be surprised at the different situations that the families are experiencing that find support through those warm lines. The housing authority, we know that because there's a lot of changes in the delivery system in 2013, that housing is no longer bundled with some of the programs. So you want to utilize their vouchers. People have heard perhaps of Section 8, but there's also Section 811, which is specifically for people with disabilities. Now, they're not shouting it from the mountaintop, but you can access those vouchers to help pay 70% of fair market value for an apartment, a place to live for your individual. These are things that you need to get information about, and you can access that through the Housing Authority. There are college programs that are available that our students can participate in. In fact, there's over 225 different programs nationally that are specifically for individuals with intellectual and developmental disability. Nobody's shouting that from the mountaintop, but it takes research. You're going to get a team, you're going to get information, you're going to get a plan and get going. These are all things that you can utilize to access supports and services for your individual. And then there are also advocacy services. Plan New Jersey can help with planning for special needs trust and ABLE accounts. They also help with guardianship. Disability Rights of New Jersey, SPAN, has been mentioned before. The ARC Family Institute is our organization with our agency where they help with a lot of the transitioning from going from DCF to going to DDD and providing help with filling out the applications, different things like that. One of our main speakers for this conference was the ombudsman for individuals with IDD and their families. There's regional support council, planning councils. Another agency is the Aging and Disability Resource Connection. When I discovered this website, they have different listings of cooking classes and different art classes that I know that my individuals would love to participate in. And so I always want to give a shout out to the Aging and Disability Resource Connection. And again, you want to use your search engine, look for some of these things that you can connect with and have it a part of your arsenal or your toolbox rather, that your child can get connected to. Oops, I went backwards, sorry. Here are some resources that are also available that I did list a couple of the websites that you can do and you can connect with. There are county paratransit organizations that can provide transit to within the county. There's assistive technology centers. They have lists of books, over 15,000 books that are recorded and on specialized machines. And the qualifications is basically if a person cannot hold a book, then they can qualify for those to be able to get those equipment, that assistive technology. And these are current books. And so this is another way that you can connect and have individuals to be with information. So we told you to get a team, we told you to get information, we told you to get a plan, get going, and get feedback. This is a lot of resources that your individual can utilize as they're planning for their transition into adulthood and along the life course. They can utilize these type of resources that are out there. Jane Hall gave us a quote: at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of the parents. It is really important that you start now, no matter what age your child is. We want you to start thinking about the future. We have a lot of resources. There's a lot of things out there that can help with all of this planning. It just takes a little bit of action on your part to develop that team, of individuals that can create a life that you want for your child and that your child wants for themselves. You want to look at online communities. There's so many social networks that are online that I've been a part of, and they've asked questions like, can I find, or do you know of an agency that is a nut-free facility? And they've quickly, parents have networked and given them information. There's other questions about selective mutism and what doctor or what agency can help with that. Different things like that, just things that are rare. You want to look at and see what kind of resources that are out there. I put supermarkets there because I pass through my grocery store and there is a wealth of activities, community groups that only have, like I said, that 5 cents to put and make a copy and stick it on a board and hope that you see it. That's their advertising budget. And so when you are going out of the grocery store, a lot of grocery stores have those cork boards that have a lot of information, and organizations are hoping that you see them. Even in the libraries, I've been in libraries where a lot of flyers have been up there and they kind of sinks into the background. But I want to challenge you here today. I want you to challenge to slow down, look at those different things, and you'll be surprised at what's out there. Different community centers are being very intentional about providing services for our individuals, career centers, different things like that that are out there that can help with resume writing, that can help with learning how to even use the different software that they can make a resume, and interviewing skills, mock interviews. All of those things are available to your student. But again, you have to get that information and you have to get out and get going to find those things. Now, this is going to be different. I'm going to challenge you with this activity. I would like for you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and I will take you through a couple of questions, in which case we want to kind of, again, expand your horizons when it talks about accessing services and supports. So I hope you have your piece of paper and your pen and you're ready to go. Okay. The first column I'd like on you to fill out on your paper is I would like to for you to answer of who can help me. I want you to make a list of things that you've gotten ideas from this presentation, and make a list in one column and think about people that may be a part of your natural supports. Again, you want to think about your coworkers, your neighbors, people that you see at the park or at the community pool or community center, um, employees of your favorite store, maybe Mr. Jones at the bodega can be a resource for you. You want to think about who can be on your team. Who do you know that enjoys the same activities that your child enjoys? Are they already a part of different sports and different things? Who are the volunteer coaches on there? Even your pets can be natural supports for you, or any other kind of connection that you have, whether it be your religious leader or a friend. All of those people, I want you to make a list of them. And a lot of times we kind of hesitate to look for or ask for help. And it's because you don't want to be a burden to those individuals. But again, I believe that they would be honored to be a part of your support group. And you would be surprised at how it's rewarding for individuals to be able to be helpful to you. So hopefully you got your list while I've been talking. I now want you to think about who they are and whether or not you have their phone number or their email or their location. I want you to think about those individuals that you've made a list with, and I want you just to write phone or email by their names. How are you going to feel comfortable contacting them? Even if it's Mr. Jones at the bodega, can you call or go in and ask him if there's something in the community that he might know about? That's being a resource. That's being a natural support for you. And then they might be talking about how Mr. Jones might be a coach for the Little League. And maybe your child might be interested in an activity for the Little League. So now I want you to write where and how they can support you. Where and how they can support you. Normally, when I do this presentation, I ask for feedback. I hope that from this presentation, you've gotten a lot of ideas. I hope that the wheels are turning so that you know that, and have been challenged to find out that there are a lot of different things and activities that are, sorry, I'm having a computer issue. That there's a lot of activities that you can participate in, as well as have your family member participate in. But I hope that I've given you an opportunity to know that transition planning to the adult system, to the adult world is important, but it requires you to be very intentional. And it also, you want to challenge you to connect and check your community. You want to look at your local level in the city and your county and your state and national. There are lots of resources out there, but you cannot only think of individuals who or organizations that have disability in the title. Okay. At this time, I'm going to open it up for questions for anyone.
That was a tremendous amount of wonderful information. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Jerisa.
Sure, sure. Are there any questions?
Amy, do you have any questions in the chat? Because I don't have any.
I don't. I also received a message from April too. I think you covered so much ground,
Yeah.
Teresa. It's like, I'm still processing. I'm taking notes on, oh goodness, we can invite them for next year, and all these different ideas that you shared here that my wheels are spinning for being able to connect and recommend those resources for outreach for other people to be able to build their community. Because one of the common questions we get is, how do we get support outside of the professional network and the professional providers? And you just offered so many incredible recommendations today, which is so useful. Will you be sharing a copy of this PowerPoint so we can review again? Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, we will. And so that tells me that my job is done. I want this presentation to really challenge parents and individuals to really look at things beyond the disability title. If you only look for things that have disability in the title, you're going to be limiting you as well as your families, so that they can be a part of your child's planning and your child's future. And so get that team, get information, get a plan, and then get going. And if there's any questions, this is our contact information. That's actually my direct line that you can give me a call. And you can, of course, utilize our website. But if there's any questions that maybe somebody comes up with that, beyond the time that we have here today, we'd be happy to assist in connecting them with any of those resources that we listed.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I have a lot of things coming to my side of the chat that says, thank you so much. This is amazing. Thanks for a great presentation. You covered so many resources. One person is asking, how do we get the handout slides? Jerisa will share them with me. I'll convert to PDF if they're not already, and then we will share them with those that have registered today in the chat. I'm going to place that in the chat for you guys once again. And also for those that were joining late and didn't maybe see in the chat earlier, Jerisa will be joining the open Q&A forum today at 12 to 2. If you think of questions from now till then for Jerisa, she'll be available to check in with you. We'll have private breakout rooms where you can get support one-on-one from the providers that are joining us today, which are including DDD, the Department of Education, Bill Freeman. I think he's actually in this workshop right now. Paul Aronson, our Office of Ombudsman for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. Tony Scott from DVRS, Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services, Community Health Law Project, Sean Benoit, who is a managing attorney there, and Jerisa Santana from the Division of Developmental Disabilities. So as well as a few planning committee members for 2022's youth conference. So you are welcome to join us then. You'll see Jerisa at 12. And then our next workshop is at 11 o'clock with New Jersey Council on Developmental Disabilities, Frank Latham. You're welcome to stay in the room if you'd like. And Jerisa, we can keep it open for the next 15 minutes if you'd like, if people just come up with questions. That does happen after we've had a little time to marinate the presentation. So it's up to you. I will put myself back on mute and please lead the way from there.
Sure, we'll be happy to entertain any questions that individuals might have. I understand I've given you a lot of information to process, but this is the work that we want you to do that's necessary, especially for our families. That's necessary. It's necessary work. Okay.
I like too how you shared the story about the girls walking in the park and how you never know who might be a friend. You know, you never know who might be a support person. You never know who might be a friend. I think it was a really good way to, again, like even just go in the corner store, maybe, you've talked to that person for the last 15 years and they know you so well. So a really good, different insight than people normally assume your family or your friends or extended family, but you never, it's really important to look outside the box. And I think that's a really good point.
Right. Yes. It's an important, thank you for that. But I really believe in that. I mean, I have several other stories that I could tell from, where individuals have been, just doing something that they're interested in and have created those networks. And so
For my son was one of his teachers. It was one of his, he had in our district, every special ed student has a designated, like a workspace homeroom, like a catch-up homeroom, kind of gets one-to-one support. And his teacher kept in touch with him, even, his brother, she just became a really great family friend, and she's been a huge advocate for both my kids. And what normally would have been a teacher, had we not connected on a different level, she's been probably one of the best advocates for both of them. So it's interesting how, the relationships, you think they're one way because it's a teacher or a provider, things like that, but it turns out they can be lifelong support partners. It's really cool.
Definitely. And if you ask her, I'm sure if you ask her, are we a burden or anything, she would definitely say, no, absolutely
No,
not. Honored.
yeah.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
She's one of those people we do have a question.
Okay.
Can a family reach out directly to the ARC, or must they access resources via DVRS or DDD only?
No, we are available for questions and help, regardless of whether or not you are receiving those services.
So someone can access on behalf of a family member, let's say a caregiver struggling with their child, an aunt or uncle or a friend or a support person can reach out and have. Perfect.
Definitely. And yes, they can, and families have, and we've been able to assist them, especially our ARC Family Institute.
Mm-hmm.
They go from birth until the end of life. And so any age, we are trying to help individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. That's our That's our charge. And so we want to be of assistance. We have several, if you go to our main ARC website, you can see that there are mainstream medical program that is available. There's the criminal justice program where individuals that have encountered the criminal justice system that have intellectual and developmental disabilities are receiving support and help with that. Um, there's the Planning for Adult Life program. There are supported employment program we even have for providers, we have a training that trainer who does trainings for supported employment in agencies. We provide that as well. So there's a wealth of different things that you can find on the ARC of New Jersey website that we try to provide those services, and you don't have to be receiving DDD, DVRS, or perform care even
Mhm.
to take part of those services.
I will tell you that in just our county, our FSO in the Camden County area, we use the go bags all of the time. The go bags are like the most wonderful things for the lifespan. They are so helpful, and they are such a great resource for families. But also the justice program that has helped so many of the families we've encountered. Juveniles to adult. I mean, it's really supported a lot of people who their lives would have taken a totally different turn had you guys not stepped in and provide, I mean, literally life-changing care and support. So I can thank you from the families. I mean, like
Sure.
from, you're not going to Jamesburg, you're going to go to the right kind of place and get the right kind of support you need and have the life you should have, as opposed to, so I can thank you definitely for that from the families. It's been a great support, both of those things. So if anybody needs help, the go bags are great. You just download it. There's a guardianship go bag. There's that's the one we use the most, but there's a bunch of them, right?
Social Security.
Social Security, that's it. Yep.
A big one. We do a presentation on Social Security and Medicaid because it is necessary Medicaid is necessary in order to receive services from the Division of Developmental Disabilities. And there's a lot of unintended consequences that happened as that requirement. So we try to walk families through that application process and get information of that. Again, we want families to get
I think you froze. Did you freeze?
Have a,
team. We want to make sure that they have that information.
Also, the best part about your information is it's not like legalese or like fancy. It's broken down to like very easy to understand. All the information and no matter which program, it's so family friendly. It's not overwhelming. It's not daunting. It's broken down to good chunks, and there's always someone able to help. So you guys do a wonderful job. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We really try to make our information accessible, and we're working very hard. A lot of all of our websites can be translated into different languages. We do have employees that speak different languages, and so we also are connecting with a program through the university that will be able to have us have translators for anyone as well. So we're working hard to again move down destroy those barriers that families have found in accessing services and supports. So stay tuned. There's going to be a couple of other announcements that we cannot make right now. But if you check back at the ARC website, there will be a lot more helpful and accessible information for families as well.
Okay, so I just wanted to.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to get on with my laptop. Can you re-let me in, please?
Well, we can hear you, and so that means that you are on.
Yeah, but I want y'all to see my face.
So we're keeping the cameras off.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No worries at all. All right, well, I'm gonna turn it over to
Yes.
you, and because I don't want to be late for Frank.
Yes. So that concludes our workshop, Accessing Services and Natural Supports from the ARC Planning for Adult Life. Thank you so much, Jerisa, for everything. You are such a wonderful presenter, but a huge wealth of knowledge, and just thank you from personally, but also thank you from the group. You're wonderful. So we're going to stop recording. Have a great day. See you guys at the next workshop.